Welcome back to the Photobooth Workshop podcast. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Sky.
And we're really excited for this conversation today. Sky, do you want to talk about how this because we didn't have this episode planned, actually. This is a really bonus one and one that we felt like it was really important. So
basically we ran a poll on Instagram and it was, what do you crave more in your business, growth or freedom?
Mm-hmm. And you and I had a really big conversation on this because when I did the poll, I kind of assumed everybody or most everybody would say freedom because we had kind of talked about it in our first couple podcasts and it's been a discussion. And for me, like the definition of entrepreneurship is freedom. And like the reason why people decide to own their own business is to have freedom. And so to me, that seemed like the easiest answer. Like everyone's going to say freedom.
Totally. And I think too, like we both kind of thought like at the end of the day, so many of the things just end up equaling freedom. You leave your full-time job and start a business. So you get freedom in choosing your time or what roles you want to do.
Yeah. And so the poll results came back and almost everyone said growth. And I was like, what? It really took me by surprise. And I sent you like the longest voice note, just like processing my thoughts on why people were choosing growth as something that they were craving versus why almost no one chose freedom as the thing that they craved in their business.
So then Nicole posted a follow-up asking people,
Mm-hmm.
what'd you ask? What do you think growth means?
Yeah. Well, what does growth mean to you? Why did you choose growth versus freedom? Like where was the mindset at?
And everyone's answer was basically like, I need to grow all these things so I can have freedom.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a second.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then that was like, oh, okay. So that to me kind of mirrored a mindset that I remember having myself. And so when I started my business, I was very short-sighted focused and honestly like in survival mode. Like you want to make money, you want to make cash, you got to pay bills. Like that's the only goal like you have. But when you start a business, it's way more than that. And I for sure learned the hard way, which is kind of why I even want to do like education and be in this space at all, is because if I can help people not experience the hard and tough times as much as possible, then I want to do that. But when you are focusing on, I want to get more events or I want to get more money or when your mindset is just on short-term things and not on the long-term longevity, you are going to burn out so fast.
Yeah.
And you're going to experience so many painful things.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think in the beginning, okay, even if you're in survival mode of like, I have to make money or pay bills, or when it's like a fresh thing, because I started at 22, like I was working another job, but it's like you're still in growth mindset because you're like, oh, I have so much time or I have these resources. Like in the beginning, I was constantly in grow mode and everything was just being invested back into my business. Then eventually hit a point like I have created such a habit of all the money going back into my business to fuel it and like me investing all my time that I felt like if I took a step back to have freedom, like my business was going to like stop and fail.
Yeah.
Like I was just in grow mode, but I wasn't in like set up an actual business for success mode. And then you hit burnout. And then like me, I was like, I'm going to shut this whole thing down.
Right. You want to burn everything and like start over or start something brand new or like sell it all. And we don't want that for anybody. I remember very distinctly, and we actually talk about this in an upcoming episode. So I don't want to dive too deep into like the burnout conversation because it's an important conversation to have. But I remember distinctly that moment where I had to make that mindset shift. And really it came down to like, okay, my goal was to start a business. Okay, I did that. Now what? Right? Like, because if I was just focused on getting more events, what's the end, right? Like, where does it end? And so I had to take that moment to really get that vision for myself and my life of like, what does happiness look like for me in my business? Like, how can I continue to do this in a way that brings me joy, that makes me feel like I'm being a good mom and I'm being like helpful to other people and uplifting and all that thing. And so a very simple example and real life example is I really missed out on a lot of really important things in Milo's life in the first year of my business, which it's kind of like a catch 22 because when you grow your business and you really need to like make it something that sustains you, you got to put a lot of time and effort and energy into it. I was doing it incorrectly. I didn't know better, but it really cost me a lot of time. And the cost was also like missing a lot of things in Milo's life.
Mhm.
And that was not my goal. Like that was not the dream. And so I really had to think of, okay, what's the dream? What freedom do I want in my life? Like, what's the vision here? And so the goal ended up being, I want to be at, and this is just like one example. There's many examples of this, but I want to be at every one of Milo's games. And so that I had to really like take that and then reverse engineer my business to fit that goal. And so what that looked like was, well, if I want to be at every single game on a Saturday or Sunday, that means I have to make sure that I have people who can cover me when the inevitable event occurs. And so if I have to have people that cover me, then that means I got to hire really good people. And if I have to hire really good people, that means I have to have a good like hiring system and ask good interview questions. I also have to have SOPs. I also have to know my equipment really well. And then if you reverse engineer your freedom vision, your goal backwards, you will literally have your path to your freedom. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So it really took that sitting back and like understanding if I want more time on my weekends to spend with my family, what do I need to do to get there?
Hmm.
And so that to me is like the freedom mindset,
Yeah.
you know? It also took like, it's something I respect a lot from you and I learned a lot from you actually was separating yourself from your business.
Yeah.
And I remember you mentioning it to me. I don't know when it was. It was before Photobooth Workshop, but you and I were talking. It was probably at PBX or something like that, like years ago. But you were talking about selling your business, and I was like, what? I had so kind of connected myself and my identity in my business. And to me, selling my business would be like selling my soul. Like, what do you mean? you know?
It's so crazy because I feel like in the photo booth world, I feel like you can kind of be either. You can consider yourself really creative or you can be like really technical. Like I definitely know people who envision themselves as more like the tech space. Like in the tech space, you're trying to build a business as fast as you can so you can sell it and like
Yeah.
get out of it and then start the next thing. Where creatives were so tied to it. It is our identity. And mine was too for like the longest time. It was like my baby before children. But the separation when you can make decisions about your business where it's like, I'm a people pleaser. So all the time I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to get a bad review. So I'm going to do like anything they say. Where it was
Yeah.
just actually basic boundaries. Like,
Mm,
never going to write me a bad review. But I was like, if someone wrote a bad review, they're like writing that about me. But they never were.
right.
I feel like on the tangent that I could have about this is where a lot of people get upset when they get like ghosted or people ask for a discount. They think that people don't value them as a person. And that's not it at all. So I think, oh, yeah, that's like the biggest, like, I think milestone in having freedom where you're like, oh, I get to choose myself over my business.
How did you get there mentally? Like what did you do to get there?
Yeah. Okay. It was kind of like a lot of things happening at once. I was having Sawyer. And I think that just changed a lot about me in general from being a people pleaser. Like the only person I cared about was now my baby. Like every decision was about her, which I think is like not everyone can relate to that. And I think also in this time, and we've talked about this in previous episodes, like right before I had her was that holiday season where I was just like slammed with events and like what people would think is like the pinnacle of success, maybe what they're aiming for. And I was like, this isn't what I want at all. And after that, I literally was like, I want to burn down this whole business. I don't want to do it anymore. So I raised all my prices because I was my like joke was I'm not a quitter. Like I'm prices so people like don't book me.
Mm,
And then people did book me. And I was finally making like money that felt worth it to leave. My-
mm,
It wasn't like and I had to separate it for myself. It's not like people were paying me what I'm worth. It was just like this money makes it feel worth it to go.
yeah,
Like I can leave my baby for the evening and go make a living this way. And I think that really changed it. And that was like, I don't know, you chase the like addiction of like those milestones that you win. So maybe it's like revenue or whatever goals it is that you have. And then that was like, I finally had this like separation and it triggered me chasing working less,
mm,
but still making more. And sometimes it's not more. Sometimes it's just like a better profit revenue, like better profit that quarter, year, whatever, versus like the number of events or the actual dollar income coming in.
yeah,
Because I also learned something about me. It doesn't matter how much I make, and I will find a way to like spend it on something that feels fun. And growing the business is fun. Like new branding, fun, new copy, fun, new website, fun. But like so once I get separated from me, it was easier to like not chase all this fun stuff and just like chase fun stuff in my real life.
yeah. I love that. Another thing that I think if you're listening to this and thinking of like how to strategically do this, have you read the book E-Myth Revisited? It's super old.
No, this is so funny. My husband has been trying to get me to read E-Myth for literally 13 years. And
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
really old.
now I'm just like too stubborn. I'm like, I will not read it.
Yeah. I think I listened to it audiobook, so maybe that'll be easier.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was very eye-opening and helpful for me because the major thing that I took from it was literally sitting down in front of my computer, literally opening up a Notion doc and writing out all of the jobs that I did within my business
Mm.
and as if I was hiring somebody to fulfill all of those jobs. So like creative designer, sales team, marketing team, like all of the jobs and then writing out SOPs for every single character or person. Just mentally, that was able to help me separate myself from my business. So if I ever wanted to scale and blow up and do million events, I could hire and I would have all of this ready. Like I know the job title
I
and
would
the
love
description.
that.
So it was just that if I took anything from that book, it was just to mentally separate from myself, like look from a bird's eye view at my entire business, where I want it to go, and how to take those steps to get there. And like the thing is too, even with marketing, if we want to talk about marketing for a second, like I we see it all the time of people talking about wanting to get leads, feeling frustrated because they're not getting the leads that they want. And then one of the first questions I ask them is like, well, what's your marketing look like? Because I think people think that if you post 3 times on social media, like you're going to get a lead. And the fact of the matter is like, it takes like 6, 7 months of like marketing
Yeah.
to be able to produce results.
Specifically digital. Like if you want all your marketing to be like social media, you have to do, I feel like, so much more work
Yeah.
than showing up to things in person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ROI of in-person marketing is
Yeah.
insane. Yeah. So circling back to that kind of Instagram post, I loved your take when we were talking about this, like why you think people were choosing growth as the thing that they're craving.
Oh, yeah. I think, well, and I think we've both been there. You like think like, okay, I'll be able to be successful or take more time off when my business is hitting 6 figures. That's always like the number that comes up. Or like when I get that viral post. Or if I just buy this new booth, like my whole business is going to change. So we're always chasing the next thing because we're entrepreneurs and because that goalpost is always moving. And so I think people need to think a little bit more like you and have like the end roadmap and reverse backwards, or else there's always going to be the new booth, the new whatever, the new software, the new marketing style, like the new feature on Instagram that if they just start doing that, it's like their business is going to blow up. And that's
Mm.
just like not how you should think of it.
Yeah.
Because if you do it in reverse engineer it, like, you actually have an endpoint where you can be like, "This is enough."
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you want to pay yourself six figures, well then what does that result like what's the overall revenue that you would need to generate in order to be able to take home six figures for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, well that looks like the how many events? Well, how do I get this many events? What does my marketing strategy look like to be able to achieve the result of this many events? How many networking events am I going to have to attend? Like there's so much there's strategy in order to be able to do this, but I think it begins with that mindset first of
Yeah.
like having that goal and vision first. And what would you say to somebody who'd be like, I have no idea. Like I'm just doing this. I just decided to start a business. I don't have any idea of what the end goal with the vision is.
Ooh, that is a great question. I have so many answers I feel like I have to this, but I would almost be like, "Well, what do you enjoy
Mm,
out of business?" Like, I started my business because I loved learning things. Like, I dropped out of college and was like, "I'm just gonna start a business to get my own hands-on degree." And so it was like learning. So it's like, how can I learn and run a successful business? And maybe for some people, it's like, I have to be able to pay my mortgage or pay my rent, whatever. It's different things, but just figuring out what you enjoy and then like hyper focus on things. I feel like we're so scattered everywhere. Like, I'm looking at my computer right now. I have 7 tabs open on just this browser. And I feel like that's how, like, a lot of entrepreneurs are. And
mhm,
they're like, "Okay, I have to market here, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of this, and I'm gonna do a little bit of this." And it's like, just actually figure out what you enjoy or what's actually moving the needle to, like, focus in on something. Don't
mhm.
have I mean, there's literally, like, statistics that show if you're multitasking, like, you feel like you're so much more productive and things are like, things look productive and busy, but you're actually being, like, so inefficient.
Yeah. And it brought me to think of there's one person in the industry, her name's Christine, you know, Little Lemon Shots.
Yeah.
I at that time when I interviewed her, she had just made like hit her six-figure goal. Like she had at that time was just over her year celebration. And looking at her now, like I think what I'm referencing here is like your hyper focused like nature. That is she's the first person I think about. Like, she has
Oh,
hyper focused on, um she's a networking queen.
yeah,
Like, I remember her telling me that was how she was able to leave her nursing job to focus on this full time and support her family, and it was all with, like, attending networking events, and if you go to her page, she's killing it,
well,
and
I honestly do. When I follow along on her stories, I feel like she's always at some kind of a community event. And
yeah.
obviously, like, I don't know if it's a paid event or a free event or if she's just attending or her booth is there, whatever, but she's at so many things.
Yeah. And she just really focused in on, like, her zone of genius there of, like, she loves talking to people, she loves networking, she's super connected, and she's just killing it. I'm like, she's a great example of what it looks like to really focus, and she's not getting, like, the crazy new stuff all the time, and she's really intentionally focusing on adding features and, and packages and things in her business that support her ideal client, which are these like networking chamber and corporate events, which
Yeah.
is where a lot of the money is. So, um, I'm really bad at focusing. I want to start a million things and have my hands in a million things. And so focusing has been something I'm really trying hard to do
Yeah.
better.
I think too, like, I consider myself more on the creative side than a technical side. And so I think like looking at numbers, looking at data sounds really boring. But like
Mm,
when you look at it and you're like, okay, you can actually see the things that make sense in your business to do,
yeah.
or the things that don't. You can like it visually made it easier to be like, I don't need to do this anymore. So
Hmm.
within my photo booth business, Smirk, like when I actually like looked at the numbers, I was like, okay, I'm getting way more people finding me from SEO or referral, not on Instagram. Like, why am I stressing to post on Instagram multiple times a week? Like, I'm gonna stop doing it. I'm gonna find a little bit of peace and I'm gonna see if my business like falls apart. And it
Yeah.
didn't. It didn't.
Yeah.
It's been like years and I posted like maybe 10 times in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And like you realize that you can let go of things and it's not all going to fall apart.
Yeah. So true. And finding and focusing on the things that bring you joy. If something's not bringing you joy in your business, then it's not going to take you closer to that goal, that vision, that freedom aspect of it all. Um, Growth is not bad. And I think we're not saying that it's bad or like wanting to grow. Absolutely not. Like you obviously have to have growth in order to have freedom. But I think really what we're more talking about now is not having it be the only focus and be the only thing that your mind is focused on and consuming. Like growth should be a purposeful part of the end goal of whatever freedom looks like for you in your business.
Yeah. And I feel like if you're picturing growth, like if you're in a place where you feel like you're constantly behind, like you're picturing growth wrong.
Mm.
Like growing is important. Like everyone should be growing as a person because I feel like as humans, like that's in our DNA to do. But like if you're constantly looking at other businesses and you're like, I'm behind, I have to keep going, like uh, stop following other businesses. Like take a break, figure out what you want, figure out your goal. I heard this on a podcast where it was like women specifically, they'll like see a family that moved into an RV and they're like, I want to move into an RV. And then the next day they see a family that's like homesteading and they're like, we should start a homestead. And then they see someone who like lives in a penthouse downtown and they're like, I could live in this city. And it's like
Mhm.
every time we see something, we can picture ourselves in it. But
Yeah.
like we're consuming other people's lives so much, we're not just like figuring out what we want.
Mm.
Which I feel like back to your question of like, what should someone do if they're starting a business? Like, take some time with yourself to
Yeah.
make sure you're not chasing and growing towards someone else's goal. Me and my husband were just out at drinks with a friend who owns a bar. And we like left and he was talking about his team and like these decisions that they made. And it was basically like, do they hire a manager? We had a team meeting and it was like, or does everyone want to step it up a little bit more? And we get freedom to kind of choose our hours, or we hire a manager and they kind of get to choose a lot more. Like we lose our freedom, whatever. And the whole team decided to step it up. And we like left and we were talking about that. We're like, wow, like he's such a good leader with his team or whatever. And both of us kind of like, we aspire to be able to run our businesses like that. But me and my husband also talk about how running a team is a full time job so much. And he has a ton of support. Like his family helps run his business. Like there's partners in his business. It's like, it's just a different business as a whole.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we got to take a step back because our life is different.
Yeah.
And so, like, we see that we're like, we want more of that. But, like, just the situations are so different. Even if we wanted to replicate that, we can't because
Mhm.
you don't have all those life experiences or all that support or all that whatever. So you
Yeah.
can't other people's identity, I guess.
Absolutely. And it's true. And that's not to say that you can't learn from other people's mistakes or like you can't listen to people's advice or things like that. Just have that with the context of like they're not going to run the same business you are.
Totally. And I think, too, like, someone listening to this is probably willing to make, like, more sacrifices.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way or good way. Like, just willing to do more, to work harder than me, like and I'm not like, so I hope they do different things than me, like, don't necessarily replicate my business model if you have the capacity to do more.
Right. No,
Yeah.
I think about this all the time because I see people who started after me and they've grown their business and then they're like excelling and doing way more than I ever will. And I'm so excited for them because and I'm like you could I don't know, I could see it as like, "Oh my god, they're, like, doing that," but, like, that's my goal. Like, if I could literally, like, boost someone up to go way above and beyond me, like, that makes me so happy, and I see so many
Yeah.
people who started after me who are killing it and are doing, like, way more than me, and I think that's the coolest thing. It's, like, the biggest.
I think it's just because I'm the same way. I, like, wanna hype people up so much.
Yeah.
And then it's very interesting because, like, we both ended up going into education route and running our businesses, but I think people can tell where we, like, are more passionate about.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're doing a podcast, helping people, trying to. And, yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I'm like, "Heck yeah, you go." Like, let me give you any tips. Here's some marketing photos along the way. Like, go build the thing. Okay. So, what does freedom actually look like for business owners?
It looks like whatever you want it to look like. I mean, it looks like, I think, to get to where you feel satisfied in your business or satisfied with yourself. And I think it's constantly evolving. But I think to get there, it's raising your prices, really like doing the math on what makes sense for your business, valuing yourself correctly. How can you streamline what you do better? What systems can you incorporate to make your business flow better and optimally, like without you? Saying no a lot more, which is a hard lesson to learn. Um, and then, yeah, buying back your time via systems or people,
Yeah.
hiring. Um, so if your business is only working when you're operating it, then that's showing you that maybe you're not growing at where you need to go and what you need to do. It's becomes a job and not a business that you're actually looking to grow.
Yeah. I think that comes back to separating yourself from the business. Like,
Yeah.
know that there are people who can take things from you and they're not going to destroy your business. Like,
Mhm.
just learning how to hire well, ask the right questions, train well, have the resources, like, have the job description laid out like you did.
And that takes time. And that's like, again, I had to learn that lesson. And I think for some people, they will have to learn those painful lessons. And hopefully by listening to this, like you can take the time to like reframe your mindset in that way. But really, if the one thing you can take out of this is just build your business with the vision of freedom first. Work your way back to it. Understand what you need to grow in order to get there. Um, and keep that vision there, because when that mindset is there correctly and when that freedom vision is there, you'll having a slow season won't knock you out. It won't kill you. It won't make you doubt everything. Like you'll have better clarity on what to do next.
Yeah.
What I'll ask you one question before we wrap this up.
Okay.
What is one thing that made your business feel freer this year?
Ooh, this year this is funny because I feel like I'm almost in the opposite. Like, I'm a little bit in growth mode again to chase the freedom. Let me do a little story time. So, I ended my contract with my social media manager. So, a lot of time freedom for me is like the time
Mm,
getting back. And like I said, I got rid of social media with Smirk. But with the photo booth edit, it's a lot, but it, it's more important than it is with Smirk because the photo booth edit is digital. Smirk I can do in person, which I love. I excel at. But realizing that the social interaction that I can have is for the photo booth edit is via my social media and
mm,
like creating that content. And so I keep like telling myself, I'm like, okay, Q4, I'm going to make marketing fun again. Like, I'm going to do things that I enjoy and spark a little bit more creativity. So I did create some systems on the back end. So there's like a little less work that I can't do. And we're going into Q4. Like, Smirk is about to get busier because we do have some holiday things. But I think my freedom right now is choosing the areas of my business to work on that are fun, that I enjoy again. And like, I am so excited. I like marketing for November and December. I am looking forward to and like showing up and doing things and kind of like the freedom to just let myself show up like on this. Like, I'm like, my hair's a little frizzy. We clicked on it. I was like, whatever, we're doing it. Like, I am freedom right now looks like just doing the thing that I want without second guessing myself.
ugh,
And so it's a different freedom than I've ever really chosen in business, I guess.
that was beautiful. Well
Think
said. So I hope this chat was helpful. I think we went all over the place. I think we felt really passionate about this topic, because I think it's really important, especially when it comes to the busy season, burnout. I think a lot of people are frustrated when they're not seeing the results quickly that they want to see in their business. And first of all, that's normal. It's normal to feel frustrated. It's normal to be like, what the heck's going on? But also, I think having the overall vision and goal of like, this is what freedom looks like for my life. This is what happiness looks like for me and my family. And I want to figure out how to get there, and also understand that as you change, your business changes, the happiness meter will also change. Like you said last time, like the goalpost keeps moving. And that's also very normal and part of running a business. So,
Yeah, let life happen.
yeah. All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next episode. Let us know what your thoughts are, comments. We want to be able to interact with you guys. So, in the comments on Spotify or on YouTube, we read them. Please ask your questions. And we are so excited about upcoming episodes.
We'll chat soon.